sweeties, and welcome back to Queer Cosplayers Family Kitchen for the exciting wrap-up of Who You Gonna Call month. So, kind of inadvertently, all month long, we've been working our way through dedications to what you could call the first family of the Ghostbusters, and that being the Spengler family. So, what we are going to wrap up with today is making a delicious batch of Egon Spengler's mac and cheese. Now, while it wasn't alluded to very much in the franchise, canonically, Egon is a nut for junk food. And while I think it's debatable whether or not you could consider mac and cheese junk food, it is delicious. So, sweeties, without further ado, let's get to it. Okie doke, sweeties. So, the first step, of course, is we are going to need to cook some macaroni. So I've got some water on the boil here, and this is actually about 32 ounces of macaroni, of elbow macaroni, but we only need about half that. That should be about good. So we are going to keep stirring this for about 9 minutes. Action. Alright, sweeties, our macaroni is prepared. So you are going to want to take this and drain it, but you are not going to want to rinse it. Then once it's drained, set it aside. Action. Alright, we've got our we've got our macaroni ready. I keep doing that. So now we need to get our cheese blended. And this is going to be a mix of cheddar and, according to the recipe, Gruyere. But the cheese I'm going to be using for that is also going to be a mix of Swiss and Gruyere. So we are going to combine both of them into a mixing bowl here, like so. Then we are just going to want to make sure that they are nice and blended, and then once again, set them aside. Alright, sweetie, so next step, we are going to make the classic step with making a sauce and get a roux started. So, I've got 1 stick of butter melted in this pot here, and we are going to add half a cup of flour and start whisking it together until it is lightly browned. Action. Alright, sweeties, we've got a nice roux set up. So next we are going to add our milk and cream. So we are going to add about 3 cups of milk to this. There's 2. I stand corrected. And 3. Then we're also going to add 1 cup of heavy cream. There we go. Get that in, and then we are going to mix this for about 1 to 2 minutes until it's nice and bubbly. Alright, sweeties, we are good to go to start adding our spices. So we are going to start off with a teaspoon of paprika, then a teaspoon of garlic powder, always a good seasoning to work with. Alright. Then we are going to add a teaspoon of mustard. Let's see here. There we go. Then we are going to add a half a teaspoon of salt and white pepper. Let's see here. There we go. And like I said, lastly, the white pepper. There we go. Now once again, we're just going to want to whisk these ingredients together until combined. Action! Cut. All right, sweetie, so now we are going to add our cheese, but before you put that in, you're going to want to set aside 1.5 cups. This is not going to go in the sauce. We're going to sprinkle it on later. So let me get the whisk out here. And once again, you're just going to put the whole kit and caboodle in there and then start whisking. Like so. Start mixing it up. This is going to make an excellently cheesy sauce. All right, sweeties, we are ready for the most important part. We are going to take our cheese sauce and mix it with our mac and cheese like so. Then, once you've combined the two, you're going to want to take a good stiff spoon and just start coating it all together, making sure the mac and cheese is perfectly blended. Action. Cut. All right, sweeties, this is looking phenomenal. So now we've just got a few more preparations before we put her into Wanda. So you remember that 1.5 cups of mixed cheese that we set aside. So we are going to just sprinkle that over top like so. You want a nice even coating. Okay, just a little bit more. All right. Just pour that last bit on. Then our next topping is we are going to coat this on top with a mixture of 2 cups of crushed Cheez-Its or whatever store brand cheese cracker you have, and 6 tablespoons of butter. So again, we want a nice even coating like this. Once you have this coated, then I'm going to preheat Wanda to about 350 degrees, and we are going to stick this in for about 25 minutes. All right. And she is ready to go in. Oh, sweeties, this turned out fantastically. It looks beautiful, exactly like the picture, and it smells delicious. Thank you so much for tuning in for Who You Gonna Call Month. This is a fandom that goes way back for me, and I really love getting to share it with all of you. And I especially want to thank our sponsor for this month, Vaulties Apparel, for making such wonderful and affirming t-shirts. Remember, use the code in this video and you can get 15% off your next order. So sweeties, thank you so much. And with next month being May, I think you all know what we're going to be doing next. So until that time, may the 4th be with you.